Hello, everyone. Welcome to the data analysis walkthrough and presentation for Noroff. My name is Jessie. I'm the teacher for data analysis, and with us in the audience is Bertram Haskins. He is also one of the teachers and also the line manager for data analysis. If anybody has any questions going forward, please can you paste them in the chat on YouTube and they'll be relayed to us and we'll be able to answer the questions at the end of the presentation. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to give you an overview of the Data Analysis 1 courses. So currently Data Analysis 1 is running and doing really well. We cover data analysis fundamentals, data-driven decision-making, spreadsheet fundamentals, statistical tools, the evaluation of outcomes, data visualization, and analysis reporting. Just to go into a bit more detail on each one. So for data analysis fundamentals, we try to walk the line between people who have some knowledge of data analysis and then people who are coming in from nowhere. So at the moment, we have a mix of both, and we make sure that we give people the foundation that they need to fully grasp the concepts of data analysis. So we start at the beginning. What is a data set? What is data? Where can you get data from? What is data collection? How to clean data? Just the basic concepts of visualization, interpretation, modeling, all those things which are building a foundation for us to build on. The next one we do is data-driven decision-making, and this is a bit more in-depth. It's when we start introducing students to data and forms of quantitative analysis that form part of the decision-making process. So it relies quite heavily on us explaining appropriately how to collect data, identifying patterns and trends, and how we will use this information to make informed decisions in the workplace, but also to be able to translate what we're seeing in the data to the business users and the end product, the people who have to make the decisions based on what we're seeing. So an organization relies quite heavily on what we interpret from the data so that they can make appropriate decisions and not rely on guesswork or intuition, or maybe that's not core, something that's not core in the data. Yes. Then we move on to spreadsheet fundamentals. Here we build.
Sorry, can you hear me, Jessie? Sorry to interject, guys. I just want to ask, can you possibly turn on screen sharing?
Okay.
We can see the presentation.
Apologies. My apologies.
No stress at all. You were presenting very well, so we were able to visualize everything coming through.
Well, that's good. Can you see me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Next, we move on to spreadsheet fundamentals. So over here, we build on the foundation that we laid in data analysis fundamentals, and we introduce the students to Excel, which is our primary tool for introducing students to working with data and analyzing data. Because Excel is so readily available and you can do pretty much anything you need it to do, we start introducing them to the foundations of Excel, but then we also carry on and introduce them to pivot tables and how to do more advanced things in Excel, like formulas, like VLOOKUPs, things like that. So we make sure that we build on data analysis fundamentals and make sure that everything that we've introduced them to in fundamentals, we build on in spreadsheet fundamentals. We then move on to statistical tools. So we are not primarily a statistical course. any kind of massive in-depth statistical modeling that we do, and we don't go into the heavy side of the math side of the things. But we will introduce things like descriptive statistics, which would be mean, median, mode, standard deviation, those kinds of things. We introduce ANOVA analysis, histograms, scatter plots, box plots, all of those kind of fundamental statistical tools that we would be able to use to carry our story of data across to the business, and also how to do all these things in Excel, which makes it something they can actually do while they're learning the tool of Excel. Evaluation of outcomes is our longest module. It is all about the processes that we put into place to assess the effectiveness and the impact of what we're doing to achieve our goals and objectives. So from the beginning, how we collect data, how we analyze it, how we get to the end product that we're trying to get to, the whole life cycle of data analysis, where we could collect data from, like focus groups or surveys or things like that, where data comes from, and then all of the things around evaluating that data and actually drawing important information, maybe information that is not easily visible to the eye, but you're still managing to find the trend or the pattern, and you can translate that and actually apply your knowledge to the business and of the business to the end product, which is the person who makes all the decisions. I'm going to let Bertram chat us through data visualization and analysis reporting, because those are his babies.
Thanks, JC. Yeah, sorry, it's a bit on the spot, but I don't mind. Data visualization, as you've heard, most of the things that we've been going through so far, it's really building up to the entire process, learning about how you can do data analysis, how you can actually go through the entire process and find something that you can present. You are finding insights. Now, many people don't respond well to just seeing numbers. So this course, data visualization, is all about taking those hard numbers and presenting them in a way that someone can actually deal with. You know, many people deal with things better visually, and it also makes it easier for some people to draw comparisons if they can see something presented as a graph. So to that extent, this course goes very much into the different ways in which you can visualize your data, also using Excel in most of the cases, because that's our fundamental tool that we use in Data Analyst 1. We also delve a little bit into the ethics of visualization, where we learn about how you present data and the biases that you can bring about by presenting it in certain ways, and how you can actually confuse and manipulate your audience if you present data in a specific way. Then our last course is called analysis reporting. So again, we've gone through the entire process. We've learned how to visualize things, but now we're at the final step. Now we need to get all of that information, the visualizations, the information that we've gotten together. We need to present it in a package. We need to give it to an audience. And remember, that is generally what we do data analysis for. You want to get those insights. You want to find out what's happening, but we don't do it for ourselves. We do it for stakeholders, for our specific audience. So this course is very focused on using reporting tools to actually take everything that we have learned throughout the program and presenting it to an audience in the form of a report. So it takes a look at best practices with regards to writing, with regards to how we integrate the various types of data and how we integrate the visualizations. And that's it from my side. Back to you, JC.
Thank you. So we also have a semester and exam project. So these project is obviously right at the end. These are designed for us to be able to see whether the students have actually grasped the concepts and the ideas and the tools that we're teaching them, and to leave it a bit up to their interpretation, because at the end of the day, data is interpretive. I might not come to the same conclusion as someone else. But if we have used the correct tools that we've been taught and the right methodology, we should get the same results. We might just take different paths. So the semester and the exam project are very much designed to help us ensure that the students are grasping what we're trying to teach them and walking away with some valuable knowledge. So you do get different types of data analysts. So it's very difficult to classify people specifically as a kind of data analyst, because we do tend to fulfill multiple roles based on the company that we work for. So if you're, for example, working for a telecommunications company where you're working with massive data sets, you might be in that company classified a big data analyst. If your primary role is to get information from the person requesting a report, you might be considered a business analyst. So there are a myriad of different kinds of analysts that all data analysts could fulfill the role of. And we quite often wear many different hats and flow through companies based on where we are needed most. The kinds of jobs we could do. So at a very small level, you could analyze data using Excel, for example, for a small company or for your side hustle, and you could project and you could forecast and you could do all the things that a massive company could do, and you could just do it on a small localized scale. Large corporations employ a lot of data analysts because they're obviously working with a lot of data. Places like telecommunications companies, places like banks and things like that, they rely very heavily on their data and the data that they're getting from their customers so that they can market effectively, so that they can pitch things correctly. The government also obviously uses a lot of data, and one of the things we do cover in our course is the GDPR side of things, so the privacy side of things and how legislation controls what you can or cannot share. Obviously, also research and development rely quite heavily on data. If you think of healthcare, for example, there's a lot of very impressive new data-driven tools coming out onto the market to help patients, to help doctors, to just make, for example, specifically healthcare more accessible. And really, the sky is the limit. You have data analysts in places like NASA, I don't know how you pronounce it, NASA. You have data analysts you could have one in a florist shop. There really is a myriad of jobs that are available to you, even conservation, even marine biology. You really could take your fundamental knowledge of data analysis and apply it to your passion. And that's what makes data analysis such a really nice thing to study and get an understanding of. And then lastly, any questions? We're open to any questions that you may have, and we'll do our best to answer them.
I can take the first one.
Okay.
Are there any requirements for prior knowledge? As with most of the online vocational courses, there isn't any specific requirement. We tend to take a student as being a blank slate, and we start from fundamentals and take the student through. So beyond the basic vocational school requirements, we don't have any extra special requirements for Data Analyst 1.
With regards to hardware, software, most of the softwares that we use are either free or they are there's trial versions that we can use in the meantime. Hardware, we do have some hardware requirements because Excel is very heavy on people's available memory. We do suggest that students have 16 gigabytes of memory, and one of the newer computers. Also, it is very helpful if you have an a Microsoft 365 subscription. It just makes it easier, although you can use the online versions. It's not a prerequisite. It just makes things easier. The next one, are teachers helpful in the job search process? So I myself have assisted somebody in our course just with how he positioned himself to the company that he was applying for and answering any questions he had around what he might be able to offer them. And they took him on, and he's having the best time of his life. And as he is learning data analysis, he is applying it to the company that he is working for. So it's a very synergistic relationship that they currently have. Bertram, I don't know if you have anything to add there.
No, I can basically just say yes. Our role in helping on the job search is less as in help you look through the classifieds, and more, as Jessie said, more in a supporting role, as in giving advice where it's needed. I can take the next question, which is about the second year or 2-year version. So the second year, as you might have heard, the first year is very much geared towards learning about all the fundamental aspects of data analysis. And the main tool for doing so is Excel, with the reasoning that most people do have this available, and most people don't start off the bat being programmers. Now, the second year of data analyst throws that out the window, because what we do is we start building on the foundational knowledge of the first year, and the entire first semester is based on data warehousing and SQL. It's based on programming and programmatic data analysis. And in the second semester, you start learning a bit more about advanced tools related to analysis, dealing with dashboards and that kind of thing. So the second year is very, very much based on the first year, but it goes much deeper into people who want to make a career building further on the concepts relating to the more technical aspects of data analysis.
The exams, what are the exams like? So the exams and the semester projects and the course assignments are very much geared towards you showcasing, as a student, you showcasing your ability to understand the concepts and the ideas and the ideation and the tools that we have taught you. So as long as you're working through the modules and you're doing the tasks and you're actually applying the knowledge as you go along, the exams are much like a semester project. They are completely doable, completely available and relatable, and you should be just fine. I don't know if that's answering the question. And then how will artificial intelligence impact this field? In general, in the bigger scheme of things, artificial intelligence runs off data. It runs off networks that teach the machine, and it's all around data. So the two are synergistic and they work together, but you don't have to fully understand how artificial intelligence works to be a good data analyst. It just depends on the field that you go into and whether or not they are focused on artificial intelligence. Things like ChatGPT and those kinds of tools, they're all just based on data and a model that has taught the machine what to do and how to answer. And as it progresses through its life cycle, every question teaches it a bit more.
I can add over there that the second year also, in one of the courses, it does touch on machine learning aspects, not the foundational aspects, i.e. you need to be able to learn how in Python, but you will learn more about online tools that you can use to use your data that you already have to easily construct machine learning models. But it's not an in-depth investigation on it. There are other programs that actually focus on dealing with machine learning and AI and those things at Noroff.
Job prospects. So the world at the moment and for the foreseeable future is very much data focused. All of our huge advancements are based on a lot of the insights that are gleaned from data. And if you consider just the pure volume of data that gets created every day by people, by machines, by sensors, a lot of companies are tapping into what can my information tell me about my customer, about my machine, about my tool, about where I need to go in the future. So in my opinion, data analysts are one of the most sought after employees, because we do have a myriad of skills. We can write reports, we can generate reports, we can automate things, we can look at the data and find insight, we can relay that to the business or a manager or whatever it is. So I think it's obviously I'm biased, but I think it's a wonderful skill set to have. And if you enjoy data, if you enjoy puzzles, if you enjoy figuring things out, then it's a perfect fit for you. I always tell people that it doesn't really matter how smart a machine is. Sometimes it's your experience and your intuition that tells you there's something there. So you might look at a data set and initially you can't see anything, but your brain and your experience and your eye for detail is telling you there is something in that data that wants to tell you a story. And that is really what data analysts do and what we thrive on. Okay. I don't think there's any more questions. I think that's it for us. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you found this informative and it helped you make a decision and that you'll be joining us. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Hope to see you
Bye.
soon. Bye.